Hello, everyone. I am Dion, and I just wanted to go over some of my thoughts on the new series Obi Wan Kenobi, now available on Disney Plus. It's a six-part series, as I'm sure we all know, and the first two chapters have come out this past week, following the Star Wars Celebration 2022 over in Anaheim, California. There's a lot of things that I wanted to say about these first two episodes, but right off the bat, I just want to put it out there that I really enjoyed it. I really liked the environments, the acting, the performances, the characters. I found very interesting, and I came into this skeptical like everyone else. I wanted to make sure that we got not just a good performance as a whole, but also like a nice successor to the great movies that we've come to know and love over the past 30, 40 years. I can safely say that I personally thought it was very good. Ewan McGregor returning as Kenobi is very, very well done. He's a very reserved version. You can tell that he's tormented by the actions that preceded the events of the series. There's a lot going on internally, and I believe that that's one thing that the show does very well. Some scenes may be slow, or a lot of pensive moments, and that is mainly, I believe, to illustrate the inner turmoil and the hesitancy that Obi-Wan is going through, because he really did fail not just his students, not just his teachers. He failed the entire galaxy. We have to understand that this isn't just a group of friends and one of them turned his back on the others, or a bad breakup in a relationship that affects more than the people directly involved. It can affect others when it comes to intrapersonal relationships that we encounter. However, this specific relationship has ramifications that impact the entire universe, not just the galaxy, not just the solar system, but everything that our stars can't even hope to touch. And that has a lot of grand implications, and you might even say that he's not taking it hard enough because of that. But Star Wars, as we've heard 1,000 times, and one of the main themes of it is about hope. Obviously, to have hope, there needs to be hopelessness. And I believe that that's what Kenobi is doing in the beginning here. I'm pretty sure one of the Jedi, who is later hung publicly, he approaches Kenobi and says, like, how can you have given up hope? What about hope? Something along those lines. I don't remember the exact line, but it was a good scene, and it has pretty much the summation of what Star Wars is really about. You can't start at the top. You have to work your way up there. And it's important that we see characters at their worst as well as at their best. And I think that the director, Deborah Chow, who worked on The Mandalorian previously, and she's worked on a number of other things. I've seen this name come up many times before. She also directs part of Better Call Saul, Mr. Robot, American Gods. So she's the real deal. She's awesome. And the action parts I also really enjoyed. Like, as you know, huge action fan, following all sorts of martial artists and stuntmen from all over the globe. They deliver on this one. The scene where Moses Ingram as one of the sisters. Which sister is she, actually? The third sister. That's it. Moses Ingram as the third sister, when she's hardcore parkouring through the cityscape at night, that was awesome. She's running around using her force powers, demonstrating that she is a top tier hunter. Like, nothing will get in her way. That one part that sticks out in my mind is when she like jumps and lands on a building sideways and kicks off of it to get to a higher elevation, which like we've seen in movies. Like Tom Cruise probably does it in every movie he's been in, but the way that she does it, using the force to amplify it, it just looked awesome. It really shows the dedication that not only she as an actor has, but her as a character, to use whatever means she can to get what she wants. And as we know, the Sith is fueled by rage, and that rage really literally is propelling her towards her goal. So that was cool. And I love Kumail Nanjiani showing up, and I hope we see more of him in the next episodes. I love Kumail Nanjiani in general, but his part is so good. He's a fake Jedi who's really just tricking people and taking advantage of them a little bit. But he's an interesting character because he's not completely lying to them in a way. Like, he says that he got that mother and daughter safely to where they needed to go. He just stole a lot of their money in the process. So it's a very interesting moral thing, and of course he helps Obi Wan at the end of the episode, trying to hold off the third sister. But she like force pulls the memory out of his head. I feel like that's similar to what Kylo Ren did in The Force Awakens, but I'm not exactly sure. I rewatched the movie recently, but of course the movie only gives us so much, and I haven't read any of the novels or anything about The Force Awakens to see exactly what Kylo Ren did in that moment. But it looks like he's forcefully pulling the memories out of Poe Dameron. Correct me if I'm wrong. I welcome any corrections. There's so much to go through. Now, Moses Ingram, watching the interviews leading up to the premiere, I was a little bit concerned, but you can tell through her performance that the passion is there. And that ending of the second episode, where she attacks what I'm assuming is the Grand Inquisitor, that was very unexpected. There's no way that they killed him off. They cannot have killed him off in the second episode. Or maybe they saw the feedback and that people were not happy with his design, and they decided, well, we can fix that right here, right now. Happy now, people? I didn't think his design was that bad. I was really paying attention to that because the first scene is the Grand Inquisitor. Well, no, the very first scene is the 501st Legion attacking the Jedi Temple. And with that said, real quick, just going on tangent, again with Moses Ingram, I was wondering the whole episode why they showed us this opening scene of the attack on the Jedi Temple. I don't think I've seen anyone mention this, but is that supposed to be, what's her name, Reva? I think it's Reva or Reva. The character that Moses Ingram plays, who ultimately becomes the third sister. Is she one of the Padawans in the opening scene of that? Or one of the younglings, I mean? One of them asks, what do we do now? And then I believe it's her character who says, now we run. And then, of course, it zooms out and you see the devastation and the fighting. It was a very cool scene, really cool. Like that Jedi fighting off the 501st Legion, Vader's fist, where she's on the ground, like deflecting the shots. That was really cool. And it was a very startling and shocking opening scene to a Disney series. The assumed massacre of these children. But I guess they make it out. or at least one of them does, assuming that it is Moses Ingram's character. Yeah, I feel like that, because otherwise, why would they show us that scene? It was very not irrelevant, of course, but to focus on those specific younglings, the ones who weren't massacred by Anakin himself at the time. Yeah, I feel like that has to be her. That's the only logical reason that they gave us for that scene, or one of those other younglings will show up later as well. And maybe it'll play into her hatred of Obi-Wan, like her specific hatred, or maybe her relationship with Anakin. I guess she doesn't have that much. Actually, no, she might. She might have a relationship with Anakin, because when she's reading Obi-Wan's mind while he's hiding and she's about to kill him, and she's like giving this little speech, she goes, "Oh, you don't know. Anakin Skywalker is alive." And to my knowledge, no one in the Empire is supposed to know that Anakin is Darth Vader. So she must have some connection to Anakin, or maybe I think it was Star Wars Theory said that she might have been reading Obi-Wan's mind and saw that Anakin was at the forefront of his thoughts, or maybe deeper in there. Because I feel like in the moment that would be odd to think like, oh no, what's Anakin going to do while he's being actively hunted down by the Inquisitors and being shot at and everything. And, well, we need to see the other 4 parts, of course. But I thought it was very good, and I liked Flea. That was cool to see Flea there. I think Deborah Chow's worked with the Red Hot Chili Peppers before. So that was fun to see. Star Wars is great for the cameos, of course. Oh, and I really liked seeing Leia as a child as well, because that's something that we've never seen before. Because we all know Luke's story, we've seen Luke's side of the story, but we've never seen Leia's, and she is just as important as Luke, as we know from the sequel trilogy, and even in the prequel trilogy. No, even in the original trilogy, because during Empire Strikes Back, Luke leaves Dagobah, and Ben Kenobi's ghost speaks to Yoda, and he goes, "He's our last hope," and Yoda says, "No, there is another." And obviously referring to Leia. So Leia is an integral part of the Star Wars mythos and the fall of the Empire, as well as ultimately the fall of the First Order. So it's very cool to see her as a child and learn a little bit more about her upbringing. Because I always wanted to know what life was like on Alderaan. Because the joke is always like, yeah, we'll take her to a rich place where she'll be bathed in riches and wealth, as well as being a senator, and then we'll send Luke over to the crappy desert planet where his dad was a slave. I think that was very good and very exciting. The child actress is great. There's the one scene where she's talking to Obi-Wan as they're walking through the cyberpunk world. I forget what the cyberpunk planet was called. I think it started with a D, but that was a cool planet. Very like Blade Runner-esque. And so they're walking through, and she's like saying all of these profound things, and Obi-Wan just looks at her and he's like, "How old are you?" And she goes, I think she's 10. She goes, "I'm 10 years old." And he's like, "You don't talk like you're 10. That was a great scene. That I like how they gave her that kind of dialogue, especially when she's like owning her cousin, just like exposing every vulnerability of her bully cousin's existence. That was good. Yeah, overall, I really liked the first 2 episodes. Maybe my expectations were just lower, because I've heard a lot of people, like, maybe not a lot of people, but I've heard people say that they're pretty disappointed in it so far. And I'm like, what more do you people want? Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I really did not enjoy Solo, and I hated The Last Jedi. I think The Last Jedi as a movie is just objectively bad, even from a cinematic perspective. Not just in the context of Star Wars, at least. And Rise of Skywalker, I didn't like either, but I thought was better. But I think this is going in a good direction. There were parts of, like, Book of Boba Fett that I didn't enjoy as much. But I think this has good potential. You've already got a good start with the main cast being very good. Maybe people are just being nitpicky. Like, the whole thing about the Inquisitor not looking that great is like, come on, man. Who cares? Like, nothing is gonna look exactly like the way that you want it to. People are always interested. You see these articles coming up all the time on, like, BuzzFeed and whatever, Kotaku or something, of, like, CGI animator uses face recognition technology or CGI recognition to create what Game of Thrones characters or Harry Potter characters would look like if they were real. And it's, like, nothing like the actors. So what, are we all gonna, like, boycott the actors who played Harry Potter and everything? Like, some of them did look exactly like what we wanted. But then again, who's to say? Who's really to say? If the creator is okay with it, and if the director's okay with it, then I don't know what else these people want. Maybe it's, like, some people will make the argument of, like, well, they have the technology to make it perfect. And it's like, well, you'll find something else. Like with Cortana in the Halo series. People really did not like Cortana's design in the Halo series. And I looked it up, and unless I'm wrong, it's the same actress who played the original Cortana, and who, like, has always voiced Cortana. They just added some CGI around her to make her purplish, bluish. Like, not as blue as everyone wanted. But, like, come on, who cares? Why is that your biggest gripe about the show? There's a lot of other things we could all be burning the show at the stake for, based on, if you've seen it. You know what I'm talking about. Let's see, so what else happened in Obi-Wan? Oh, the ending, of course. You had Hayden Christensen reprising his role of Darth Vader. I'm excited to see that. At the same time, like, I wonder how they're going to do it, really, because Hayden Christensen obviously is a very good-looking man now in his, how old is he, 41. Yeah, he's in his 40s. He's a good-looking, handsome man. They're going to put him in the suit, I guess, and he'll play Darth Vader from the suit. I mean, like, it's good to see him back and stuff. Maybe we'll have more flashbacks. I hope that we get some flashbacks of General Kenobi and General Skywalker during the Clone Wars. That would be really cool. And maybe some, like, cameos featuring Ashley Eckstein as Ahsoka Tano, like, in their Padawan form. That would be really cool. Of course, there's only 4 parts, so we'll see what happens. We'll just have to wait and see how they play it out. The prosthetics do look very good. The CGI looked really good. I think a lot of this one was not as... Well, there were some CGI parts, of course, but I think overall it was like a almost movie quality. I'd have to rewatch it a few more times. But if you were to really nitpick it, I'm sure you can find, like, errors in the CGI and everything. You can do that with literally any movie, though, even high-budget ones like Marvel movies and things like that. But I think this was a very good, almost movie-quality series, and I'm very much looking forward to the next parts that come out. This was a pretty long ramble, but yeah, those were just my thoughts on the Obi Wan Kenobi series, the first 2 parts that are out right now. I'm very much looking forward to seeing more of it and seeing where we go from there. So, thank you everyone, and have a good one.